Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy and this is Thrift Adventure. Today I'll be doing another ship with me video. In these videos I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much they sold for, what I paid for them, and what my profit was. So you want to be sure to watch all the way to the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and hopefully you can learn some new things to keep your eyes out for when you're out thrifting. So let's get started. The first item, or the first sale, is a bundle sale of 7 items, I believe. And this is to one of you, a subscriber. Thank you so much, Beth Ann, for supporting me and my channel. It just means so much to me. And I just appreciate all your guys' support with the kind comments and purchases and watching my videos. All of it just really means a lot to me. So this bundle sold for $204.85. In my closet, I have an automatic 15% discount for bundles of 2 items or more. So Beth Ann added all of these to a bundle and automatically got that 15% off. So the first item that sold is this Brighton, I believe this is Brighton woven leather belt. It's kind of a pewter silvery color, and she said that she had been wearing the same belt for a long time and she felt like it was time to treat herself to some new belts, and she got 3 different belts. I think it's funny that she mentioned that because I was just realizing the other day that one of my favorite belts that I wear all the time is getting worn out. And I think I need to, kind of rob my stash to get a new one for myself, or keep my eyes out at the thrift stores for one for me that I like. I'm pretty sure that I thrifted this one that I've been wearing forever, but I think it's time for a new one. Okay, the next item that she purchased is this vintage genuine snakeskin leather belt, and this is by Justin brand. I love picking up snakeskin belts and Western styled items. I believe all of these belts were originally listed at $39 a piece, which in general is how much I list my belts for. And then I send out offers and I accept offers because, as I've said over and over again, I look at belts like a bread and butter item. So I want to, bring them in and bring them out, or move them out quickly so that I can, keep listing new ones. And in my area, it is relatively easy to find belts in the $3 range. Sometimes Goodwill will price them up higher, but then they'll have another belt there priced lower for $1.99 or something. So usually my cost of goods ends up coming out to about $3 per belt. This is a Ralph Lauren belt. It's kind of a lemon lime green color. It's actually Ralph Lauren. And I just listed this not too long ago, maybe about a week ago. I like to pick up all different colors and styles of belts, men's and women's. I am noticing that black belts seem to sell the most for me because as I'm looking at my current inventory, my black bin is the emptiest. And I have done a little video about this in the past, but I store my belts just in laundry baskets. So I have one for black belts, one for brown belts, and then another one for all other colored belts. And that works out well for me. I don't do any sort of number or QR code system for my storage. My brain just doesn't work that way. My brain works like, jeans in one bin, sweaters in another, but you're welcome to do it however works for you. Okay, so the next item is this adorable vintage bird brooch. I just love this piece. I'm so glad that it is going to one of you because I really wanted to keep it, but I just don't end up wearing brooches My mom wore brooches almost every single day. I don't think I've mentioned that before, but all throughout the year, spring, summer, fall, winter, she would find a way to incorporate a brooch into her look, and she always got tons of compliments. Okay, so the next two items are just teeny tiny little charms. One is a mermaid and one is a camel carrying some little bags. I've also mentioned before that when I find charm bracelets, I usually take the charms off and sell them individually. I just find that I am able to make a better profit selling them individually as opposed to selling them as a whole bracelet. Now, I haven't tried to sell a whole bracelet in quite some time, but you know, a few years ago, I would try and do that, and I just, you know, I'd end up getting $50, $60 for the full bracelet, and usually I can sell these individual charms for $12 to $30 per piece. Okay, and then the last item in her bundle was this fun pair of Vince Camuto wedge heels. These were in excellent pre-owned condition. I had them listed for quite some time, and actually I relisted them not too long ago. So I am thrilled that they are going to a new home. I'm not sure if she was doing some Christmas shopping too, but this is a great way to do it, you know, through adding items to a bundle, and oftentimes sellers will give you a nice discount for purchasing multiple items. And of course, I am happy to honor those discounts for you guys especially. Okay, so I paid $26 for everything in her bundle. The shoes, I believe I paid $10 for. The belts averaged about $3 a piece. The brooch, I believe I paid $3 for, and then the charms I paid $2 or $3 a piece for. So thank you again. After Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $137.88 on that bundle. I'm thrilled with that. Okay, so the next item that sold is this vintage Harley Davidson graphic t-shirt. Now this is quite faded and worn, but these graphic t-shirts can, certain ones can have good value, and this was a single stitch sleeve. So all that means is that there is only one stitch across the sleeve, and that is a key word that you want to use in your listing, because a lot of vintage t-shirt collectors are looking for the single stitch. I also had this listed for quite some time, and it ended up selling for $60. I'm happy with that. I did have it listed considerably higher than that, but that is just fine. Sometimes, you know, when an item has been listed so long, it is just time to accept what a buyer is willing to pay and move it out. So I paid less than $1 for this because I got it at a fill the bag sale. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $47. I'm very happy with that. So the next item that sold is this darling vintage lingerie kind of robe or nightie. I think they called this a night jacket. And again, I've said this before too, but if you're new here, I pick up vintage lingerie, and sometimes, or, you know, I guess maybe I would call, yeah, I'd call it lingerie, but not items that, you know, people would be uncomfortable purchasing pre-owned. And I don't like to pay up for it because it doesn't always sell for super high prices. This ended up selling for $25. I have had some sets, you know, that are really frilly like this. That is a set with a nightie and the bed jacket sell, you know, for $80 to $100. But in general, it doesn't sell for super high prices. I paid $3 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $17. I'm happy with that, and I think the buyer will be thrilled with this. It always seems like when I sell these, I get really great, happy reviews from the people. So sometimes it's not all about a big profit. It just makes me happy to kind of save these vintage items and get them into the hands of someone who is really excited about them. If you're enjoying my videos, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you ring the bell, it'll notify you when I upload new videos. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things really help me out. They encourage me and they tell YouTube that people are enjoying my videos. Okay, the next item is another semi-vintage item. This is just a cute, funky little cardigan. It is by Croft & Barrow, and it actually is 51% silk. I had never come across a silk woven item before, but there was a couple of reasons that I picked this up. Number one, because it was 50 cents. Number two, because I felt like I could use a lot of keywords in this listing, like academia and grandma core, vintage, of course. I think I used like patriotic. I can't remember all of the things. Well, also because it was silk, I felt like that was a good selling point. So this ended up selling for $33. It did take a little while to sell. I think I purchased it at the beginning of summer this year, so maybe in the six-month range. But as I've said before, sometimes vintage items take a little bit longer to sell if you are trying to get a higher price. You know, if I had to price this at $18 or something, I'm sure it would have sold right away. So like I said, I paid 50 cents. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $25.90. I think this one might have had discounted shipping, and I always include that or deduct it from my profit. Okay, so the next item that sold is just this kind of simple men's Columbia jacket. I don't always pick up Columbia items, only if I particularly like the style, or if it is at a fill the bag sale, or say the bins. So this one is at a fill the bag sale, and my average cost of goods for that sale ended up being 15 cents. So yes, I'm gonna pick up something like this, even if it's not going to sell for a super high amount. This sold for $20. And again, it probably took about 4 to 6 months to sell. I think I may have relisted it recently. I went through and tried to relist a lot of my coats at, you know, when the weather started to get cold and I started noticing people buying them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $15.85. Not a huge profit, but that's just fine for that investment amount. Okay, so this next item I am kind of disappointed about, but I am also happy to get it out of my inventory because I think I have had this listed over 2 years. This was just a bad buy. I overpaid, plain and simple. And if you watched last week's video, I sold another one of these fringe motorcycle jackets. So a couple of years ago, I was selling these really good for high prices, like 200 plus, and then I paid up for a couple of them and priced them up, and they just sat there. So this ended up selling for $125. It is such a cool piece, and the zipper was functional, but it was kind of tight and sticky, so I felt like I had to mention that in the listing. This did not have a brand name in it. So like I said, it sold for $125, and I would have liked to have gotten more than that, number one. But number two, I paid $85 for this. Sometimes I have poor judgment and I pay up for things and it doesn't end up working out. But the majority of the time, it ends up working out and I make a really nice profit on items. This is not one of them. When this buyer offered me $125, I decided it was time to let this item go and, you know, recoup my investment. And then I made $15. Not at all what I had in mind for an $85 investment, but this is very bulky and it was just time to, you know, let it go and move it on. I hope she is thrilled with it. And really, I don't think $125 is a terribly low price for this. I just think I had, you know, high expectations because what I had sold this type of jacket for in the past, and it's just not selling for that anymore. So overall, a good weekend. Don't go anywhere because there should be at least 1 or 2 more clips after this. And I'm sure I will have some more interesting things to share with you. So I'll be right back. Hi again, it's Wednesday and I've got some really exciting sales to ship out both from Cherish and Poshmark. So let's get started. The first item that sold is this little statue of a bighorn sheep, I think is what it is. And I picked this up at a small town thrift store. I was pretty sure that this was bronze, and it was also marked on the bottom here with the artist's name, which is Harvey Ratty. It was only $4, so I decided to take a chance. I didn't have time to do research, but when I did a little research, I saw that his pieces, he's still actively making pieces, and I can't remember what they retailed for, but I priced this at $189 plus a $5 packaging fee, and it sold for full price. It did take in the realm of 6 months to sell, but I think that is a wonderful sale. So the total sale price was $194. I paid $4 for it at that thrift store. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $148.42. I am super excited about that. So I don't really know how to explain to you how to tell if something is bronze, but I would definitely take some time if you're interested in selling hard goods to kind of try and familiarize yourself. I'm sure there's some guides online, but bronze pieces are definitely more valuable and they're expensive to produce. So if you think that you find a bronze piece, you know, give it an extra look. Okay, this next item also sold on Cherish, and it is just this Swarovski crystal that always gets stuck on my tongue, so I don't know if I spit that out correctly, but it's a little faceted heart. I don't know if you can see it has floating hearts on the inside, and it was marked with the little Swarovski, that's how you say it, swan on the bottom. This also sold on Cherish, and it sold for $50. I had picked this up at a sale for $1, so that was really great. It didn't take terribly long to sell, maybe 2 or 3 months. I wouldn't be surprised if someone is buying this as a gift. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $38.22. I'm going to move these out of the way. And the next item that sold is this giant down maxi coat. Let's see, I'll kind of sneak the bottom out. It looks like a down comforter. I picked this up not too long ago and I showed it in a thrift haul. I'll go ahead and link that thrift haul in the description box below, but I wasn't sure about it when I bought it, and it sold for $90. So I think that is great. I'm also going to package that up off camera because it's just pretty bulky. I listed that for $129 and the buyer offered me $90, which is in line with where I thought I would land selling that. Like I said, I only paid $4. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $68. And I think maybe 2 months, a month or two, I'm not exactly certain on how long that took to sell, but not terribly long. Okay, the next item is this cute little malachite heart pendant. It just has a teeny tiny bail. I love the look of malachite, and you know, some people believe that stones have healing powers and other like chakra purposes. So when I find little stones like this, I like to pick them up. This sold for $39. I think I had it listed for $44, and my Posher VA, or somebody liked it, and my Posher VA sent them out a 10% off offer with discounted shipping for the $39. I had paid $1 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $27.22. Nice little profit there, and a really cute little item. I think that took 2 or 3 months to sell, so not a terribly long time. This next item took a really long time to sell, probably 2 to 3 years, but I think it's worth the wait. It is this beautiful vintage gray mink, something just fell, gray mink fur stole. Now, I've mentioned this before, I don't like to purchase new fur, but if I find a vintage fur item, you know, I feel like if we just throw it away, then the animal died for nothing. I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong view on that, but if you don't like to buy fur, I totally understand, and that's totally up to you. This ended up selling for $300. Now, certain colors are more rare and sell for higher prices. So like the gray and the blonde minks usually sell for a little bit higher than, say, a brown, because the brown was very common. A lot of people had brown. So like I said, this sold for $300. I'm also going to package that up off camera so I can be a little more delicate with it. I paid $40 for that. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $200. So some really great profits on sales today. I'm really excited. And just some higher dollar sales in general. Sorry, just 1 second. All my stuff's falling down over here. So the next item that sold is this really great pair of Donald Pliner boots. I loved this kind of cuff that came down here and the contrast. Also, the top part kind of has a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. These sold quite quickly, less than a month. I priced them at $129, and a buyer came in and offered me $116. So I said, yes, I will accept that. I had paid $12 for these at the Goodwill. They had them marked at $12.99, and I had a 10% off coupon. At my Goodwill, when you donate items, they'll give you a tax receipt, and it comes with a little 10% off coupon on the bottom. So I always save that, and then I ask my friends who aren't resellers to save me their coupons too, and they do. So that is wonderful. After Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $80.80. That is really wonderful. I didn't know what to expect. Sometimes I get really great prices for Donald Pliner pieces, and sometimes they just sit around and I don't get that great of prices. His stuff does have a really high retail value. So if you can, you know, pick it up for an affordable price, I would say go for it, because it still is really nice quality stuff. Okay, so the next item that sold, these took a long time to sell. I don't know, maybe over a year. But these are another pair of Corkies. Did I sell? I think I sold a pair last week that I had had forever. So I think I just was pricing them too high. These are some clog boots. They did have quite a few like scuffs and dings on the heels, which in hindsight, I probably should have touched those up to make them look a little bit better. But these ended up selling for $42 with discounted shipping. I think that's just fine. I think maybe I had them priced at $69 to begin with or something like that. But live and learn. I will know that I can't, you know, get super high prices for Corkies all the time. Of course, you know, I'll still do research on comps before I list them. But I sold, or I paid $6 for these. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $24.68. Still a nice little profit. Probably would have been better if I had have just, you know, priced them a little bit lower to begin with and sold them quicker. But I am always learning. That's why I like to share my experiences with you guys so that you can learn with me. You know, I had someone comment on one of my last videos telling me that I should do research on a certain type of item. And in fact, I had, but I just can't retain, you know, I can't be an expert on everything, and that's okay. You know, sometimes I mispronounce things, and that's okay. You know, we're all human and we all learn as we go. And I do appreciate you guys letting me know the pronunciation of things, especially if it is, you know, kind of in another language and I, you know, just don't know how to. So thank you all so much for your support. I so appreciate your kind comments and feedback. It just means a lot to me. That is it for today, but don't go anywhere. I will be back in a couple of days to share what else I sell. I'll see you then. Hey there, it is Friday and it's been another great 48 hours. This week has turned out to be amazing. I have some more exciting sales to share with you. So the first item that sold is this vintage, I think this is Art Deco. It could be earlier, maybe from the 30s or 40s. It is an agate ring set in 10 karat gold. It is very small, dainty, delicate, all the things. This ended up selling for $206. And it did take a really long time to sell. I think I had this listed 2 or more years, but I only paid $5 for it at an estate sale. So I was happy to just wait for the right buyer to come along. These vintage pieces with agate in them, there are collectors for them and they can sell for higher prices, although you just have to wait for the right buyer to come along. Like I said, I may have been able to sell it quicker had I listed it on eBay or Etsy. I really need to get my hiney in gear and cross list because I think some of these vintage items would be selling better or quicker if I was doing that. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $156.82. I really think that is worth the wait for a small item that I didn't pay very much for. The next item that sold is this semi-vintage, maybe from the 80s or 90s, turquoise, mother of pearl, kind of tribal Native American style necklace. I like this style of necklace, but this is another thing that doesn't sell super quickly. But when I can find it for affordable prices, just like all the other jewelry items, you know, at estate sales or yard sales or thrift stores, I have no trouble waiting for them to sell. Okay, so this sold for $41. I had paid $3 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, I might package this up off camera. I'd like to wrap that other piece up. That made my profit $26.82. I think that's just fine. I am not going to complain about that at all. The next item that sold is another cute little charm for your bracelet or to wear as a tiny pendant on a necklace. It's a little pine cone. Isn't that sweet? This sold for $10. I paid $1 for it. These aren't really, you know, big money makers for me, but I just think they're cute and fun. And I do sell them, you know, periodically. Sometimes it goes in spurts. It seems like I've been selling more this time of year than during the summer. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $6.05. Some of the articulated charms, meaning they have little pieces that move, those can sell for higher dollar amounts, or if it's just a really unusual charm, then like I said, those can sell for more money too. Yeah, normally fourth quarter is pretty good for me. So it is December 1st today. But typically first quarter is the best quarter for me. I don't know though, this fourth quarter might rival my first quarter. It's been really great, so we'll see. The next item it sold is this little Kate Spade card case wallet. I picked this up at yard sale, I believe. Can't remember exactly. It was only $3, so I said, yeah, definitely gonna pick that up. It ended up selling for $41. I think it had discounted shipping on it. Like I said, I paid $3 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $26.82. This didn't take a super long time to sell, so I am really happy with that profit and that sales price. Because Kate Spade does have an outlet website or a sale website, and sometimes you can get really good deals on those little card holders. I've gotten them new for like $28 before, so getting $41 for a pre-owned one I think is great. So the next sale is a bundle sale, and the bundle for 2 pieces sold for $140. The first item is this vintage ski coat. It has a genuine fur collar, and I am sure that I'm going to mispronounce this, but this is the brand. It is Poutre. I believe it's a French brand, and this brand, if you buy it new, is outrageously expensive. Like if we wanted to buy a new ski coat right now, I think probably $1,200. But this is probably, I don't know, from the 80s or 90s maybe. And the resale prices on this brand just weren't super great. So I am happy to end up getting, this ended up, I would say, I sold it for maybe like $60 if you, you know, kind of take the percentage of what I had this listed for and what I had the next coat listed for. This buyer did get quite a deep discount compared to my original asking price for both pieces. They got about, they made me an offer of about 40% off of my asking price. But I had this coat listed for probably 8 or 10 months. And then the other coat that's in this bundle had been listed for roughly about 6 months. So I was just fine letting them go for that lower price. Okay, so this is an interesting piece. This is a very vintage, worn out military bomber flight jacket. And this is destroyed. So there should be, I'll show you on the other one, I think. Yeah, the cuffs are just worn out and destroyed. The bottom is all stained and ripped. I thought that made it cool. And again, I don't know, maybe if I had to put this on eBay, I could have got more for it. But this person seemed to be into this style of piece, so I am happy to let them have it. I know I just need to get over my fear of selling on eBay. And it is a little bit fear, but it's not just that. So I really like the no nonsense rules, return rules on Poshmark, and the shipping is so easy. So I just really like to know that when a buyer gets an item after the 3 days is up and my funds have been released, that the sale is over and I can just move on and not worry about any future returns. Also, if I was going to try and ship something like this through eBay, with the weight of it, I probably would have to charge $20, $25 for shipping. And it just seems like the prices keep going up and up and up. And I just like the straightforwardness for Poshmark. And sometimes for me, or most of the time for me, peace of mind is a little bit more important than profit. Sometimes I struggle with anxiety a little bit, and so I just don't want to have to worry about a buyer coming back 45 days later and saying that, you know, the vintage item that I sold them didn't, you know, fell apart or something like that. I just can't guarantee things that are vintage or used for that matter. Okay, so the bundle sold for $140. I paid $7 for the ski coat and $1.50 for that vintage bomber jacket. So a total of $8.50. So that made my profit $103.50. I am happy with that for sure. The next item that sold is this pair of Ariat little loafer slip-on shoes. I picked these up just because I liked that steerhead and roses print on them. Plus the turquoise part had a little bit of a metallic sheen, and I just thought they were cute. These also kind of look like those Hey Dude shoes a little bit that are so popular right now. So these sold for $47. I think they had discounted shipping, but I think that's really a great sale price for these. I had paid $6 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $29.58. These just took a couple months to sell, so really not that long at all. I am just really excited about how great my sales were this week. So for my sales, let's see, from Monday, November 27th to Friday, December 1st, it was $1,783.85. Yes, I love having sales like that, especially, you know, Christmas is coming, so it's always great to have a little bit extra money for that time of year. My total cost of goods was $210.35, so that's a really great ratio. And my total profit after any website fees, my cost of goods, and any shipping discounts was $1,195.50. For those of you who watch regularly, you know that my weekly profit goal is $1,000, to exceed $1,000, and I have the last couple of weeks, so that is wonderful. Hopefully first quarter will be even better than last year. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, all your kind comments. If you're enjoying my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would do so. It really helps me out and encourages me to keep making videos. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, those things really help me out too. Okay, thanks again for watching. I'll see you next week.